Okay, so the deck that I'm going to be using against Loki in this scenario, Loki, God of Lies, is my Thor leadership build, Motley Crew Hammer. So basically, the way that this goes, it kind of goes like my it's basically almost like my other deck I made, same deal, leadership. I think that was called Don't Stop Thor Believing. Basically, leadership aspect, it's gonna basically involve around using aerial allies and using air supremacy to help us maintain control over the board, especially when it comes to minions. I'll put a link to where that deck is if you want to check it out. If you want to give me some feedback on it, see how if you try it out, see how you enjoyed it, or what your thoughts were on it. So just a real quick down on the build. So we're running some allies. So we want a lot of aerial allies to get the full benefit of air supremacy. So we're gonna run. So we're gonna definitely be running Arrow. So Arrow's pretty cool. Basically with Arrow, you just want to get her on the board. You don't really want to be doing a lot of attacking and thwarting because you want to keep her on the board. But the main thing with her is you want to exhaust Arrow to use her ability to basically give all your aerial characters +1 attack. Mostly this is just to feed power of Thor because he's already going to have +1 from Mjolnir. So he becomes an aerial when Mjolnir's in his hand. So by doing that, we're basically essentially giving Thor a 4 attack every turn. So that's some serious damage just from doing her basic attack. Then the other ally we're going to run is Cloud9. Cloud9, pretty much the same deal as Arrow, except for instead of boosting up the attack, it's basically boosting up your thwart. So this can give all your aerial characters +1 thwart till the end of phase. If you are going to thwart, if you need to thwart with Thor, which you probably don't want to because he's got a 1 stat, you'll be able to give him a 2 just in case of emergency. We're going to run Adam Warlock. Adam Warlock, he's just a really good ally in general, but he also has the aerial trait, so this also feeds into our air supremacy. And then his response is when you do an attack or thwart with them, you discard 1 card at random, and then whichever one of those options you have with your resource, those effects happen. Another aerial ally, Falcon. When Falcon enters play, we look at the top 3 cards of the encounter deck, and then for each treachery we looked at this way, we remove 1 thwart from scheme. This is pretty clutch because he comes into play, he has aerial, he can remove threat for every treachery in there, and then he can thwart for 2. So it's some good threat removal we can use to our deck. Hugin and Munin, auto include for any Thor deck with leadership. I mean, you could also play it for any leadership deck, but this synergizes very well with Thor. Reason why, it has the Asgard trait on it also, so this also would help us reduce the cost for if we had a team building exercise on the table. But the fun thing with this is that we search the top 10 cards, we select a minion, we put it into play, right? So it engages with us. What happens when Thor engages with a minion? He gets Heveti, and then he gets 2 cards, and then we potentially could also ready up a lot of characters depending on how many boost icons. Regardless, you're gonna get a ready for Thor on this. It's also a nice cheaper option than trying to always recur Lady Sif. We're gonna go ahead with a Maria Hill. What can I say? Maria Hill, 2 thwart, comes into play. No matter what, get 1 card. And then we put in Nick Fury because he's just a really great utility knife. If I need damage, I got damage. If I need him to take 2 threat off somewhere, I got that. Or I'm feeding 3 cards to Thor with his, poor hand size. We play 1 copy of Triskelion, so then that way we can increase our ally limits. We get more aerials on the table. That's great because then that's more targets we have, just in case if we get swarmed by minions. The bread and butter to what we were going with. Air supremacy. Choose up to X enemies where X is equal to the number of aerial characters you control, and then deal 3 damage to them. Another fun thing is that air supremacy is not an attack, so you could be stunned and you could play that and you could still pop 3 damage off somewhere. We're going to run 3 copies of Make the Call. Make the Call is great just for when we need to, maybe we had to, like, you know, certain situations, maybe we had to use one of our aerial characters to defend, or we want to just abuse the whole mechanic of trying to get Nick Fury on the table to give us more card draw, or whichever we need. But regardless, it's, you know, pay the printed cost of the ally, put that ally into play from the discard pile. So, and then we will run 2 copies of Squared Off. This is just to get our expensive minions into play for cheaper or for free. Synergizes with Thor's Havathi, so we discard cards from the card deck until we get a minion, put that minion into play, engage with you, and then put an ally from your hand, reducing its cost by 3. We got our supports. We're going to run a Helicarrier. Team building exercise. This is going to be great because we are going to be able to reduce our costs for anything that's traded with our hero. So, for example, Asgard or Ariel, or if we have an Avenger card. Quinn Carrier, because it's traded for an Avenger. Thor is an Avenger, so I want it in the deck. Also, you exhaust it, you generate a wild resource. And then I slipped in Soaring Acrobatics, which is great because when an aerial character you control uses a basic power, exhaust Soaring Acrobatics, that character gets +1 to that power. So, works out nicely too because Thor has aerial, so if you have Cloud9 or if you have like Arrow on the table, and depending on what you need to do. So if you attack, right? So before you attack, you exhaust Arrow to give all your flying characters +1 attack, right? So that means Thor, who has 3 attack because of Mjolnir, gets 4 attack for that buff from Arrow, and then if I attack and I use this, I'm essentially giving Thor a 5 attack. Or if I need a thwart and I have Cloud9 on the table, I can exhaust Cloud9, give all my aerial characters +1 to the thwart, and then I can use this to increase my power for that turn to thwart 3 off to somewhere. Or if I have to defend with Thor, I can increase my defense by 1. So it's very beneficial if you're an aerial. And Thor's aerial as soon as he gets Mjolnir on the table, which is pretty much in the beginning of the game. And then the last 2 copies of Power Leadership. And then our standard 3 double resources: Strength, Genius, and Energy. So that's the build. That's the build. Yeah. So ideally, so basically, it's pretty simple. We want to get our resources out. We want to get Asgard out. We want to get our aerial allies on the table, and then we want to use. We have air supremacy to help blow up the field, or help us blow up the field more to control it and throw damage where we need to throw it. So yeah, we'll get this all shuffled up, and then we'll go ahead and get the villain scenario all set up. Okay, so let's get the game set up. So we're versing Loki, God of Lies. We revealed the main scheme. Worlds collide. This is mostly kind of give you the idea of the setup if you're doing the massive multiplayer, which we're not, so we're just gonna avoid the different player groups that it's asking for. The contents of this: Loki, God of Lies, standard counter set, and then 1 modular counter set, which we're using the trickster, trickster magic modular set that came with the scenario pack, and then we'll flip this over. This gets 2 threat per pod. So since we are technically a pod of 1, because each pod is a group of 1 to 4 players, once this hits 2 threat, we lose. So cards cannot affect this scheme or Loki, God of Lies, unless they refer to those cards by title. So we can't do anything to this scheme whatsoever. So we'll go ahead and put this over here on this side, and then we'll go ahead and reveal, I should say, Mischief and Mayhem. So we put a random avatar of Loki villain into play, and then set each other avatar of Loki villain and shatter the illusion card aside. And then put each synergy environment into play. And then in standard mode, set the intense focus attachment aside. In extra mode, we attach it to the avatar of Loki that's in play. Alright, so first things first. So Loki, God of Lies, has 20 health, and if he has 10 per player or fewer remaining hit points, we will flip this card over. Put him over here, and 20. Then we have our 4 avatar Lokis. That's all we have, right? Yeah. Alright, so don't have a dice nearby. Thought I did. Stand by. No, I don't. Okay. Useless. Okay, so I'm just gonna like not look and decide from that way. And then I choose this one. Right. So the avatar of Loki that we're gonna get is Loki of Nav. So force response, after you resolve a treachery card, deal 1 damage to your identity and 1 damage to your ally you control. Force interrupt, when the villain would be defeated, plays 5 shatter counters per player here, and then flip this card instead. So, that's, and then we'll put these aside. And then we will grab those synergy. There's one. So that's 4 right there. So these come into play, they're permanent. So each one's different. We have first one's called Unified Front, max 1 per player synergy counter here. They're all the same with that, so I'm not gonna repeat that part of it. So since we're playing solo, we can only put 1 counter max on it. And then you can use these to help you during the game. So I can remove this one right here to generate a double resource, which is nice. Mounting resistance. With this one, I can, when a friendly character thwarts, remove 1 to remove additional 4 threat. This one is when an identity would take any amount of damage, remove 1 to prevent 4 damage. And then this one is when a friendly character attacks, remove 1 synergy counter from here, and then that deals an additional 4 damage. So during the game, there will be certain things that will happen that will allow us to put counters on here, and then we can use those. We can use this to help us in our gameplay against Loki. All right. So our avatar gets 15 health. Player, and then God of Lies can't take any damage. The whole idea is we want to get shatter counters, and then once we use the shatter counters is what's going to inflict the damage on it. So everything looks like it's set aside, so we can go ahead and flip this over to the 1B side. When this scheme would be completed, remove all threat from here and place 1 threat on Worlds Collide instead. And then when an identity would be defeated, change the identity's form to alter ego, set the hit point dial at 1, and then place 1 threat on Worlds Collide. So basically, this is basically what it's going to do is if this schemes out, put a token or threat on Worlds Collide, you get another chance. Happens again, you lose. So that's how that goes. And I think we're all set to get this game going. Let's check here. Let's make sure this doesn't screw up. Boom, 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 boom. Turn it off. Alright. So we've got the main scheme, environments to play, everything's all set up. We'll go ahead and take our obligation, shuffle this into the encounter deck, and we will get the game going. So, the encounter deck, a nice quick shuffle. Make sure everything's stacked to my advantage, because winning is important, so you know, you're not cheating, you're not trying. No, I'm just kidding. Alright. Alright, that goes up here. Give the old hero deck a shuffle. Oh, there you go. It's horrible. I think we're good. Alright, we'll draw up our first hand. So we draw to Maria Hill, Defender of the Nine Realms, Strength, Air Supremacy, and a Genius. That's nice. 4 resources. So no starting threat, so not Defenders of the Nine Realms is not going to really help right now. this is probably not going to help either. Because we don't... Yeah, we would have aerial activated, but... I'm going to mulligan these two, I think. Alright, I'll take a resource generator. It's fine. Alright, so we'll start off with that. Alright, so we'll go ahead and we're going to use Thor's action ability, Worthy. We can search our deck and discard pile for Mjolnir and add it to our hand. Go ahead and do that real quick. So, have that. Alright, so let's go ahead and play a Genius to put in Maria Hill. Maria Hill will draw us a card. We draw 2 arrow. Now I wish I didn't throw arrow. Wish I didn't throw that away now. We're gonna go ahead and flip to Thor. And then we're going to use a strength to put in a God of Thunder. And we'll go ahead and use our God of Thunder to generate a energy resource to put Mjolnir into play. So what this will do is it will increase our attack by 1. And we are going to swing. We're going to swing 3 onto Loki, the Avatar. So we'll drop them down to 12. And yeah, that's pretty much it right there. I think I'll do is I'm gonna throw a hammer throw away, and I'll hold on to arrow. And I won't do anything with Maria because at least I could use her for a thwart. So I think we'll call that a turn. So we'll go ahead and ready back up. Drop to our hand size of 5. So we'll get squared off, which is perfect because now we can get her in for free. Twin Carrier. And Air Supremacy. Okay. Alright, so now we are going on to villain turn. We'll put 1 threat onto the main. And Loki is going to activate against us. So they are going to attack. I am going to... I'm going to take the attack. So Loki is going to attack for 1. And then a boost of 0. So it'll be 1 damage. And I just dropped that card. Oh, that was such a fumble. Oh, my back. Alright, so I'm going to take 1 damage. So that will drop me down to 13. And then we will be dealt an encounter card. And that encounter card will be Side Scheme. So this is Door Between Worlds. So any player in your pod can thwart Door Between Worlds as if they were in their own game area. So when defeated, each group in your pod places 3 shatter counters on the avatar of Loki villain and 1 synergy counter on one of their synergy environments. Alright, so this is actually going to be very beneficial if we defeat it. And it gets 7 threat per pod. So since we are in a pod of 1, we just get 7. So now I need to figure out how to thwart. And I threw away defenders with 9 rounds to begin my turn, so I'm doing terrific. So that is this for hazard, and we can't touch the minion. Alright, so good. At least that wasn't a treachery card, so we're not doing too bad. Fairly exhausting. Okay, so turn comes on to us. I think the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and play Squared Off. Hero action, discard cards from the encounter deck until you discard a minion and put that minion in play, engage with you, and then we reduce the cost of our ally. Next ally we play by 3, which is perfect because arrow is 3, so we'll be essentially playing an arrow for free. So let's go ahead and do that, and we're going to discard cards so we get a minion in play. Alright, so we're going to get the Dragar Buddy, Asgard, and then when defeated, the defeating player discards the top card of the encounter deck. If that card is a treachery, we have to deal this as a face-down encounter card. So let's go ahead and put that here. And we'll go ahead and put a guard token on that. Let's remind ourselves that we can't touch the villain until he's gone. And then because we did that, we get to reduce our next ally that we play by 3, so we put arrow in for free. Also, because we also became engaged with a minion, we are allowed to use our response for have at thee. So after we engage a minion, we can draw 2 cards, and this is only limited once per phase. So we'll also get to draw 2 cards. So we draw into for Asgard and a lightning strike. Alright. Well, I think only I could thwart. We're gonna use God of Thunderous resource. So we'll generate an energy resource. We're gonna use a lightning strike, and we're gonna use it for Asgard to pay for a Quinn carrier. So you can only play this as if your identity has the Avenger trait, which Thor is an Avenger. So now we can put this into play, and then we can use this as a resource generator. Generate ourselves a wild resource for anything that we need. And then we are going to go ahead and swing 3 damage onto the Dragar Buddy. And we'll now activate his effects. When defeated, the defeating player discards cards from the top of their encounter deck. And then if we get a treachery card, we have to deal it back as an encounter card. So we lose so we get rid of an advance, but as a treachery card, so this is going to be dealt to us as a face down card, which I'm actually kind of okay, because this will also feed us another 2 cards on the villain's turn. Yeah, right, so that's going to be dealt as a counter card. Alright, so at least we know we're going to be getting another 2 cards in the villain's turn. So, and then that note, we are going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and thwart 3 off of this, just so we can start chipping away at it. So we'll go drop that down to 4. And that's pretty much all we can do right now, so we're going to go ahead and ready up. And 1 damage here, and 1 damage there. Okay, Yeah. Alright, we're gonna go ahead and drop to our hand side of the floor. Alright, so we got the Triskelion, Soaring Acrobatics, and Power of Leadership. Alright. So we're gonna put, so this is actually gonna go up by 2 threat because we have an acceleration. So this will go up from, this will go up to 3. And then the villain's going to attack us. So he's going to be attacking us for 1. I'm going to go ahead and take it again. So he's going to attack for 1 and the boost of 3. So that's 4 damage we're going to take. And then we will be dealt, we're going to be dealt 2 encounter cards. Because this one was already sent out for us, so this is our initial dealt, and then because we have the hazard icon, we get another encounter card. So the first encounter card we know is going to be our buddy. So we can use our response to have at thee to draw ourselves 2 cards. So we draw into a make the call to make the call. Well, that doesn't help. What does it? And then our next encounter card is another side scheme. Aura of Stasis. When revealed, discard the top 2 cards in the encounter deck. Top 2 cards in the card, top 3 cards instead in expert mode. If it's a treachery card, discard this way, exhaust your identity. Alright, that gets a solid 4 on it. So we discard 2 cards. So that is a attachment, and this one is a treachery. So what does it do if it's a treachery gun? I have to exhaust my identity. And then our next, alright, so that's good. So, and then our next encounter card is an assault, so that's a treachery. And this is after we resolve it, I have to deal 1 damage to my identity and 1 damage to every ally I control. So Maria Hill is about to die. So it's after I resolve. So this gets resolved after we're done with this effect. So the villain's going to attack me again. Since Maria's going to die anyways, I'm going to do that. So I'm going to have Maria block for it. So he's going to attack for 1. 3, so that's 4 attack. So Maria will block that. She will be defeated. And then that would resolve the treachery card. And then force response, after you resolve the treachery, deal 1 damage to your identity, which will drop me down to 8. And then 1 damage to each ally I control, so arrow goes down to 2. And that's it. And that should conclude the villain turn. Alright, so, my turn. Alright, so that happened. Alright, so we need to do stuff. I think the first thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to use Quinn Carrier and I'm going to use God of Thunder to put in our Soaring Acrobatics. So the cool thing with this card is it works really well with my build because Thor's aerial when he's got Mjolnir in his hand. So basically when an aerial character I control uses a basic power, so you know, thwart, attack, or defense, I get to add +1 to that power. So this actually goes pretty good if I'm gonna like do an attack, since I already got like +1 from Mjolnir to my attack. I could exhaust this, give him basically 4 attack for the attack, or if I need to defend, I can now give Thor 3 defense technically when I defend, because defense is basic power also. So it's just a nice little thing to slip in, you know, with your aerial characters. And then we're gonna make the call, and I'm gonna use the power of leadership to double the number of resources that you generate paying for a leadership. We're gonna bring Maria Hill back into the game. So her response is once she enters play, players can draw a card, and we get another squared off. And unfortunately, we don't have another ally. That's a bummer. You will remove 2 out of that. We can get rid of the Dragar. So let's do. We'll pay these 2, which I'm kind of sad to do, but we're going to use air supremacy. So we choose up to X enemies where X is equal to the number of aerial characters you control, and then deal 3 damage to each chosen enemy. So we have 2 aerials on the table. We have Arrow and Thor. We're going to choose Dragar, and we're going to choose Loki's Avatar. So we actually bypass the guard effect because this is technically not an attack. So we'll deal 3 damage to the Dragar buddy first. That would defeat him. We'll do his when defeated response, and this is not a treachery, so he will be going away now. And then we'll do 3 to the Avatar, so that'll drop him down to 9. And then I don't want to sacrifice Arrow yet. Not ideal. That exhaustion really kind of messed things up a little bit, but we're lacking some serious thwarting right now. So we'll just have to carry on. Alright, so we on exhaust, we're gonna ready up. I'm gonna hold on to make the call, because what I'll probably do is I'll probably block with Maria Hill, and then I'll play make the call again to bring her back out again, our card draw. So our hand size is 4, so we're gonna draw into a Hammer Throw, Lady Sif, and Nick Fury. Alright. So 2 threat is going to go onto the main, so this goes up from 3 to 5. So we're 5 out of 8 right now. Once that goes to 8, it's going to put a threat onto Worlds Collide. Alright, so Loki is going to attack. I'm going to go ahead and block with Maria Hill. So Loki is going to be attacking for 1, and take 1 indirect damage for each character you control. So it goes by characters we control, so that would be all my allies and including my identity. So 1, 2, 3, so I take 3 direct damage. And Maria will take the 1 damage from Loki, so she'll be defeated. And we'll get our encounter card. So we get 2 because we have the hazard on here. So we have 2 encounter cards. So revealing the first one, we get Malekith. He has Retaliate and a force response after After Malekith attacks, you discard the top card of the encounter deck. If that card is a treachery card, deal it to yourself as a face-down encounter card. And we get Retaliate. And then, because we got engaged with a minion, we can activate our Have At Thee. So we do get to draw 2 cards for that. Oh, there's Asgard. And Defender. Alright, so yeah, we got Defender of the Nine Realms. So that's actually makes me a little happy right now. Alright, and then... Alright, so Dark Scepter. So attached to the Avatar of Loki Villain. The Avatar of Loki Villain gains Stalwart. And treacheries cannot be canceled. Wow. Okay, that's pretty mean. And it gets +1 attack. So, and then after you resolve a treachery card, you can spend 2 resources of the same type to discard this card. All right, so I'm gonna. So he gets +1. Alright, so... Okay, cool. Alright, so we didn't get any treacheries, so that's nice. And we will go to player phase. So I can get that back. So we got some things going on here. I'd like to get Nick. I would really like to get Nick Fury into play. Some cards would be nice too. So let's start it off with the Defenders of the Nine Realms. So this is one of Thor's thwarting cards. So it's a hero action. Discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until you discard a minion. Put that minion into play. Engage with you. So it's nice because I get to trigger my Have At Thee, and then I can remove 3 threat from a scheme. So I'm getting cards and removing threat. It's a win-win. So we're gonna do that. So we'll discard until we get a minion. I'd love to see that happen. And my obligation. Fantastic. Okay, so we're gonna get Grendel. Grendel has guard, 6 health, 1 scheme, 1 attack, and then he has a force interrupt when they attack. Discard the top 3 cards of the encounter deck, and then for each treachery card discarded this way, he gets +1 attack for that attack. Then when defeated, place 3 shatter counters onto the Avatar Loki villain. So now we can activate Have At Thee and draw 2 cards. Now we have Air Supremacy and our Make the Call. What should we do? Alright, so let's do... We're gonna generate energy resource with God of Thunder. We're gonna generate a wild resource with Quinn Carrier. And then I'm gonna use Lady Sith and a Hammer Throw to bring in Nick Fury. So when Nick Fury comes into play, he has a force response. We get to choose one of the following effects. We can remove 2 threat from a scheme, draw 3 cards, or deal 4 damage to an enemy. And then at the end of the round, if Nick Fury is still here, we discard him. So what I would like to do is draw 3 cards, because we really need some resources. So we're going to draw into an energy, we're going to draw into Hugin and Munin, and we draw to a helicarrier. Alright. What can we do? Alright, so I think what we'll do is we'll have Nick actually I think what we'll do I think we're gonna play a make the call. And we're going to play 2 to bring Maria Hill back into the game. So then when Maria Hill comes into play, we get to draw a card. So we'll draw into Cloud9. And then we'll have Maria Hill wart this off, so then we can defeat the door between worlds. So when defeated, each group in your pod places 3 shatter counters onto Avatar Loki, and then 1 synergy counter on one of their synergy environments. And this gets victory, so this is no longer in the game. Okay, so we'll put alright, so we'll put 3 shatter counters onto him. And then these go away. And then we can put a synergy counter on one of the environments. What is going to be the best one? I think I want the resource one. So we're gonna do the resource one, and then I want to use that to generate 2 double wild resources. And I'm going to use the helicarrier to put in Asgard. Running out of space. Alright, so we're going to put Asgard in, and then this increases our hand size by 1, so this will be very beneficial for us. And then I think what we're going to do is we are going to exhaust Arrow to use her effect to choose a player, and then until the end of phase, each aerial character gets +1 attack. So Thor's attack goes up to 4. And then we're going to have Thor attack Malekith. And we're going to exhaust Soaring Acrobatics to increase Thor's attack by 1 for this attack. So he's actually attacking for a 5. So we'll go ahead and defeat Malekith. And we don't get affected by the retaliate because we outright destroyed him. So when he's defeated, we can place 2 shatter counters on the Avatar of Loki. So this will go up from 3 to 5. And then we're going to I'm gonna be sad for doing this, but I'm gonna do it anyways. So I'm gonna play 1, 2. I'm gonna play 2 resources, and I'm gonna play another air supremacy. Choose up to X enemies, where X is equal to the number of aerial characters that you control. So we do have 2 aerials. So that's 3 damage. So we'll put 3 damage onto Glendale, and then 3 damage onto Loki. And that's not an attack, so we can do that. And then we're gonna go ahead and thwart now. We can't touch the main scheme anyways right now, so let's just go ahead and thwart 2 off of that. And he'll take 1 consequential. And that's it. We'll go ahead and toss everything. Power goes down by 1. Ready up. And then we get to, so now our hand size is 5 because we have Asgard into play. So we'll drop to our hand size of 5 now. And we got our helmet, which is nice because now we can just throw some hit points on us. Team building is great. This will help reduce costs for our traits for aerial and Asgardian cards. Another resource generator. And then hammer throw. Alright, so the threat will go up by 1. So this is now 6 out of 8. Loki is going to attack for 2 because he's got +1 for the Dark Scepter. We're going to go ahead and have Nick Fury go ahead and block that. Actually, you know what? I think I would have Thor defend that, and I'm going to use Soaring Acrobatics to increase his defense by 1. So we'll go ahead and defend. So he's going to be attacking for 2, and then a boost of 3, 4. So I'm going to take 1 damage. So that will drop us down to 4. And then Grendel is going to attack. So when the Grendel attacks, discard the top 3 cards of the encounter deck, and then for each treachery card discarded this way, he gets +1 attack. I'm going to have Nick Fury block him, so we're going to discard 1, 2, 3. So only 1 was a treachery card, so his attack goes up to 2. So Nick Fury will be defeated. Then get our encounter card, and we get the Madagog, 10 health. We get to trigger our response, draw 2 cards, Power of Leadership, and Defenders of the 9 Realms. What's this effect do? Alright, so he has a when defeated effect. So each group in your pod places 3 shatter counters on the avatar of Loki villain and 1 synergy counter on the synergy and environments. 3 scheme for attack. Okay. So that happened. And we're exhausted right now. So let's have Maria kill that. So now we can actually start thwarting the main again. So Maria's out. First things first, we're gonna use. Let's use God of Thunder. Let's use Quinn Carrier. Let's put in a team building. Let's use the Defenders of the Nine Realms. Let's discard until we get a minion. Alright, so we get Tatiana. And she has Study. And her attacks have Overkill. And we get to use, got to bring that up, so I get to use that, and I can draw 2 cards for a Lightning Strike and a Falcon. And I also get to remove 3 threat off the scheme, so we'll drop this down to 3. I think I want to make the call. Well, actually, let's use team building and a lightning strike. Actually, yeah, let's use lightning strike and put in. So we actually can reduce the cost of our helmet because it's Asgard with the team building. So we're gonna go ahead and put on our helmet. She'll give us 5 hit points. So that'll boost our health up to 9. So now we don't really have to worry about flipping down right now. Let's see here. Love to get this card out. I don't think that's going to be an option. And he's also got 3 scheme. Yeah, we're gonna have a lot of heavy hits going from the minions. Let's do a make the call. We'll do 4 resources. And we'll bring Nick Fury back into the game. Because we're about to deck out anyway, so to make the call's not even going to help us. So we might as well get one more use out of it. I think I'm just going to take the damage, and I'm going to throw... Probably just throw 4 damage onto the Grindel. And hopefully Thor doesn't get exhausted. Have Nick block the Madagog. And then we have Tatiana, who's gonna do stuff to us too. Yeah. Actually, no, he's got 4. I could just have Thor block that, because I could get the... No, either. I don't know. Maybe I just take the cards, see if I can draw into Air Supremacy. I'm going to be decking out anyways, so I might as well just do it. Yeah, just going to draw the 3 cards. I'm in. So we draw into Warlock, we deck out, so because of that we get an encounter card. So we'll shuffle up our deck. This is so massively, like, crazy. I cannot wait to actually try this out in an epic multiplayer scenario. It's gotta be insane. Alright, so we get to draw 2 more cards. Lightning Strike, Lady Sif. Alright, so that's to help. I should have took the damage. Alright, well. Bummer. Let's have Nick, I guess, throw 2 on him. And then scrap those. And we'll just ready up and we will draw to our hand size. Gonna make some space here. All set to go. Alright, and alright. So we'll draw to our hand size of 5 because we have Asgard into play. So we're gonna draw into Cloud 9, a hammer throw, strength, air supremacy, and energy. One threat goes on to the main. Loki is going to activate. This is where we need to decide where the beatings need to go. So Loki's attacking for 2. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna defend with Thor. We'll use our acrobatics to increase our defense by 1. So he's going to be attacking for 2 and then 3, 4. So we'll take 1 damage. And then Grindel's going to attack for 1. So when he attacks, we discard the top 3 cards of the entire deck. And then for each treachery card discarded this way, he gets +1 attack. None of these are treacheries, so yay. So he only attacks for 1. I'll drop this down to 7. The Mancog is going to attack. We'll have Nick block that. So he attacks for 4, which would defeat Nakiri. And then Tatiana is going to attack. Her attack scheme overkill. So she's going to hit me for 3, which would drop me down to 4. Yep. Okay, so then we'll get an encounter card. And luckily it's not a treachery, but it is a minion. So now we have... Oh, I'm sorry. Forgot about this one. I should have revealed this one first. Alright, so... Lofty Goals. When defeated, place 2 shatter counters on the avatar of Loki villain. This comes in with 5 and acceleration. And then we get Absorbing Man. So he comes in with Guard, and then while Absorbing Man is engaged with you, he gets plus attack, where X is the printed cost of the highest card you control. So he would get a plus 3 because currently that's the highest cost card I have right now. And wouldn't you know, he also has Guard. Alright, so we also get to activate this. Let's draw 2 cards to Helicarrier and make the call. Okay, so that happened. Thor's exhausted. So now we got a lot of stuff on us right now. Well, we have a make the call. We have 4 resources. So that's another Nick Fury play right there. Get him out. Do that. So bring in Nick Fury again. We're gonna take 3-card draw. Ooh, for Air Supremacy. And God of Thunder. So we have 2 Air Supremacies, Power of Leadership, and we have the resources to also so we got a lot of minions. We also get Cloud9 onto the table too. Actually, let's do team building, and then let's use the Helicarrier as a resource to put in another God of Thunder. So now we have 2 on the table. And then let's do Quinn Carrier, 2 God of Thunders. We're gonna put Cloud9 onto the table. So now we have 3. We have 3 aerials on the table now. And then let's do Power of Leadership, Air Supremacy. So choose up to X enemies where X equals the number of aerial characters you're in control, and then deal 3 damage to each. So we have 3. Let's do 3 to Grendel, which will defeat him. And when he's defeated, we can place 3 shatter counters on the avatar of Loki. So that's going to take him from 5. So it takes him to 8. So that's 8 shatter counters we have on it. And then let's throw 3 damage on him. And then let's throw 3 damage oh, I wish I could just keep up. Let's throw 3 damage onto Absorbing Man. And then we'll use Arrow to use her ability to increase all aerials attack by 1. So we're gonna have Cloud, who has currently an attack with 2 right now, attack Absorbing Man. So that'll put Absorbing Man to 5 damage, and Cloud will take 1 consequential, and then we'll have Nick finish him off. So that'll take him, that'll defeat the Absorbing Man. So then, Absorbing Man will get victoried, and then when defeated, the player who defeated that minion puts the set aside Absorbing Man ally into play under their control. So he'll get victoried. And then we get the Absorbing Man ally. So 1 attack, 1 thwart. Same deal like on his villain side, or when he was on the other side. When they attack or thwart, I exhaust and upgrade or support I control, and I get plus X for that power, up to a maximum of 3. So essentially what I can do is I can exhaust my Asgard, even though you don't need to exhaust Asgard to do anything, but I could do that to give him a 3+ bonus. And then, if only I had 1 more resource, I could have done another air supremacy. So what is that? 6, 8. Probably should use him with Thor. Main's at 4. I would like to throw the damage on the Managog. Flipping down's not an option right now, so let's use Absorbing Man, and let's throw 4 damage. So we'll exhaust. So we'll exhaust Asgard to give him plus 3. So he'll attack for 4. We'll throw 4 damage to Tatiana. And then that's all we could really do right now. We'll hold on to the air supremacy. So he takes 2 consequential damage for that. We'll unexhaust. So this is going to go up by 2. So this goes 6 out of 8. And then Loki's going to attack. Which now this deck's out. Now puts that to 2 because of that. We're gonna defend. Oh, I forgot to draw my hand too. So 2, 3, 4, 5. So we are gonna defend. We are gonna use acrobatics to give us +1 defense for this one, and he's attacking for 2. And boost. Place 1 threat on the main scheme for each character you control. Good day. Alright, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 goes on to the main. So this would obviously defeat it. So when the scheme would be completed, remove all the threat from here. And then place 1 threat on Worlds Collide. Alright, so now if I get 1 more threat on here, I lose. So if I get defeated, that's going to add it on there. Or if I get defeated by health or by that. Alright, so that's done. And then now the Manacog is going to attack. That's straight up 4 damage. Oh, I probably didn't think this through. I'm gonna have Cloud defend this one. Oh, I really didn't want to do that. But I'll still have 2 aerials on the table. And I want to keep Arrow alive because she gets +1 attack. So she's going to defend that. So 4 damage goes to them. Cloud's defended. Tatiana's going to attack. Nick's going to block that. She has overkill, so Nick has 2 remaining health points, so she had 3 attacks, so 2 gets soaked up, so only 1 overkill damage will spill over to Thor. And then Nick's defeated. And we'll get an encounter card. Oh, that's the worst one. So advance villain schemes. So Loki's gonna scheme for 2, 3. So 3 threat goes on here, and then after you resolve a treachery card, deal 1 damage to your identity and 1 damage to each ally you control. So Arrow dies. And Absorbing Hit dies. And I take 1 damage. And then after you resolve a treachery, you can spend 2 resources of the same type to discard this card. I lost all my aerials, so I guess I will I can spend 2 resources in. Let's do... Yeah, let's just get rid of this. Okay. That really put a damper on my day. Alright, so we are now on the player turn. Gotta thwart it out. Let's Defenders of the Nine Realm. Discard so we get a minion, and we do. So Grindel's back with guard. I get to draw 2 cards. Oh, we got another Defenders of the Nine Realm, and we got Heal Get Immune. Then we can remove 3 threat from scheme. I think we should get rid of. We should probably work on that one. So 3 threats off of that. We're gonna make the call. We're gonna play 2 resources, 3, and then 4. Get Nick back. What do we want? The card draw. So we do the 7, 8, 9. Let's do the. So if I do 4 on that, it's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's do the 4 damage on Tatiana. That's going to defeat her. So instead of a card draw, we'll do 4 damage. And then same deal with the Absorbing Man. Tatiana will then join my side. So when defeated, whoever defeated them, put the ally under your control. So this will get victoried. And Tatiana will gain Overkill and Piercing. I will then do. So he's at 5. So we can actually take out the Madagog. Oh, yeah. So that actually be beneficial. Let's have Nick do 2 damage. So that's 5, 6, 7. And then Tatiana will attack for 3. So let's just, there's gonna be no overkill spillage, so that's gonna be 5. So it's at 7, 8, 9, 10. So she'll take 2 consequential damage. And that will defeat the Madagog. So then, when defeated, each group in your pod places 3 shatter counters on Avatar of Loki, and then places 1 synergy counter on the synergy environments. And he's gonna get victoried. So throwing on 3 shatter counters. So that's gonna take it from 8, 11. Alright, and then we have to decide. we have to decide what we want to do. This is exhausted also. I'm gonna take the two. I'm gonna take one of these. The double resources are nice. And I'm actually gonna use it to put in Hugin and Munin. So when he enters play, search the top cards of the encounter deck for a minion, and then put that into play, engage with you, and then for each booster icon, I can ready a character. So we're gonna look at the top 10 cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, so this one is actually going to probably be the worst one for us because this is going to be the boost and this is going to be the encounter. And discard the top 3 cards of the encounter deck if it's a treachery card, which would hit a treachery. I'll take 2 indirect damage, which I don't want to do. This would become the encounter card, attached to an ally. Actually, you know, what I could probably do, if I don't let Nick Fury die, I could potentially just attach that to him, and then it doesn't matter. I think that's what I'm gonna do. So it's kind of like cheesing it. Alright, so we're gonna select this as our minion. So we have to put everything back in order. So it would have been this, 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 this. Got a lot of treacheries coming up. Alright, so he comes in, he gets put into play, so his wind reveal effect doesn't activate. He has 3 boost icons. So I get to unexhaust 3 characters. Do not have a resource where I can... Oh wait, I do actually. So I can team build, and then I'll use defenders as a resource to play an air supremacy. So I have 2 aerials on the table. So I can go ahead and throw three damage on them. Wish Arrow wasn't dead. we could clear up this threat or clear up the minions. Whichever one's gonna be worse. I think the minions are important to get rid of right now. So Thor's got 3. I'm gonna go ahead and have Thor hit Grindel for 3. We'll defeat him. So then when he's defeated, we place 3 shatter counters on Loki. So this will go from 11 to 14. What is this going to do? He's at 3, so 5, 6, 7. Yeah, let's just do it. We're gonna hit 3. Actually, no, we'll have Nick hit 2. So that's gonna be 2, 4, 5, and then we're gonna have Hugin hit for 1, so that's 6, and then Nick's got 2 damage, 10, and then Hugin's got 1. Tatiana is gonna attack for 3, so she has piercing and overkill. So with 6 damage on here, 1 will get soaked up, so 2 overkill damage will spill over to Loki. So that's gonna be 4. That'll put his health down to 4 on his avatar. And then when they're defeated, place 3 shatter counters on the avatar villain, and then choose a group in your pod and put 1 synergy counter on one of the environments. Oh no, this goes on it has to go on the dominating force. So, and I think that gives you 4 additional attack when you attack. Alright. Oh, and then how many shatter counters was that? That's 3, so that's going to take it to 17. 15, 16, 17. So we have 17 shatter counters. 17 shatter counters, and still got a lot of crazy threat that's going to happen. Flipping down is probably not a good option. So yeah, let's see what happens. So 17, 18, 19. So we get that cleared up. He's gonna have 19 shatter counters on him. Oh yeah, so she should be at 4 damage. There we go. Alright, let's drop to our hand size of 5. So hammer throw, air supremacy, falcon, love it. Defenders, love it. Maria, love it. Okay, let's try not to die. All right, so we're going to put, so 3 threats going to go on. So we know there's no advances coming up, so 3 threat goes on, so that's on 6 out of 8. And then Loki is going to attack. We are going to defend Hugin. So there's your advance. So he attacks for 2. And we know that our encounter card's not going to be a treachery, so let's go ahead and just reveal that. It's going to be the love triangle. So again, with the love triangle, attach to an ally you control, otherwise this card gains search. We're going to go ahead and attach it to Nick Fury. Actually, you know what? I want to... No, he would have died. Because I didn't want Nick Fury to be defeated, because I wanted to attach this on here. So we fix the focus on our camera by doing that. So we attach the love triangle onto our ally. The ally can't attack, nor can it defend against villain attacks. So that's now satisfied. We're now at the end of the round. Nick Fury's effect is when Nick Fury is on the table, he goes away. So that means that this would go away too. And that's how you avoid that. Okay. And there was no treacheries that were played, so that's good. Alright, so we have 17 shatter counters. Let's do a Defender of the Nine Realms. We're going to discard so we get a minion. So now we're discarding all that bad stuff we were going to get. So we get the Minotaur. It's put into play, so his Wind Reveal effect doesn't activate. Alright, so he comes in with Toughness, which is quite alright, because Tatiana has Piercing. So this works, and then we get to remove 3 threat from Scheme. We're going to go ahead and remove it off of Lofty Goals. So this will drop the threat on there to 1. And then when Lofty Goals is defeated, place 2 shatter counters on the Avatar of Loki villain. So this will go from 17 to 19. Oh, actually, I just did that. And then we get to activate our have at the. So we drop 2 cards. So we get squared off, and for Asgard. Alright, so let's do. So we want to get rid of the Minotaur. Alright, so I think we have game. Because Tatiana has Piercing and Overkill, so we can just have her attack. She's gonna throw 3 on there. Actually, we could do this too. Let's do. We'll go ahead and just do 2 resources. Actually, we can go 1 resource, team building, and we'll do an air supremacy. Choose X enemies where X is equal to the number of arrow characters you control. We control 1. We'll throw 3 damage onto the Minotaur. Actually, no, I guess it would work out if I just do it this way. So Tatiana will attack, throw 3 damage onto the Minotaur, ignoring the toughness, and then she'll be defeated for consequential. And then we're going to air supremacy, 3 damage. So that defeats the Minotaur. So when the Minotaur is defeated, place 2 shatter counters on the Avatar of Loki. So that goes from 19 to 21. And then just for funsies, I'm going to Quinn Carrier. I'm going to do God of Thunder to put in a Maria Hill to draw a card into a Power of Leadership. And I'm going to thwart 2 off of here. So we'll drop that down to 4. And then we'll go 2, 3, 4. Put in Falcon. So when Falcon enters play, look at the top 3 cards on the counter deck, and then for each treachery card, remove 1 threat from the scheme. So we got 1 treachery, so we can remove 1, that takes that down to 3. So we'll be getting a 3 boost. So that would be the boost card. That would be our encounter card, and then that would be whatever the next boost card would be. And then we would have Falcon thwart 2 off of that. Drops that down to 1. And then I guess at that point we have just enough to attack Loki. And we're going to go ahead and exhaust the Soaring Acrobatics to increase our attack by 1 this attack, so that would give us a 4 attack. And we'll go ahead and remove the synergy to deal an additional 4, so we're essentially attacking that avatar for 8. So that would, so now we did 8 damage to that. So Force Interrupt, when this villain would be defeated, place 5 shatter counters on here and then flip this card instead. So 2. So that's going to be, what is that, 15. So this was at 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 4, 5, 6. So 26. Shattered icons. So then we flip over to the Fading Figment. When revealed, shatter the illusion. When revealed, shatter the illusion. See the set aside shatter illusion card, and then choose a group in your pod. Then place synergy counters on their domineering force environment equal to the number of players in that group. Okay, so I would put 1 on there because of me. Right. And then we grab our set aside shattering the illusion. Alright, so remove each shatter counter from the Fading Figment, then deal damage to Loki, God of Lies, equal to the number of the shatter counters removed this way. Okay, so there's 24, 6. So we would do 26 damage. So, but we'll call this we're gonna call this a win. Thor is the winner, and yeah. If you enjoyed the video, love to hear some feedback from you on it. Drop a like. That'll help support my channel. And also, too, I'd like to hear your thoughts on, what you think of this scenario. What, how do you like the mechanics on this? Has anyone played the epic multiplayer portion of this, which I have not yet, but I'm looking forward to actually trying that out soon. And wonder what else heroes would be good for this. I actually was thinking about maybe I want to do like a. I think I want to try this on expert, but I also want to probably try this out, like maybe playing two-handed, and maybe put a little more thematic on it. Maybe do like a Valkyrie and Thor. But I want to try this on. I'll try this again on expert. I think the next video I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go back to the Enchantress since I already played her, and I want to try her on expert and see how that goes. I might use Thor again. Actually, I think I will use Thor again because I like to see how my deck will actually play out in expert mode. And yeah, we'll go from there. Other than that, thanks for stopping by and checking out my video. Appreciate it, and have a great day, and I'll see you on the next one.